Howdy guys, Miss Collins here, and today we are going to start talking about our first principle of art, pattern. Now, pattern is something we are definitely familiar with. We have used this vocabulary word time and time again in the past. If you think back to when we were studying our elements of art, we made a weaving, and although we were talking about texture at the time, we also established a checkerboard pattern during that project. So we're going to use the same kind of philosophy here, but instead of making a checkerboard pattern, we are going to make a mosaic pattern. Now, a mosaic is a work of art or a kind of design that is made up of a bunch of tiny pieces that form together to make one. This is also a good project to do for unity, which is another principle of art that we have coming up. This artwork is going to use tiny pieces to work together to make one, and so it's going to be very unified at the end of this, but for the sake of pattern, that's the word we're focusing on today. Now, these are the only materials that you're going to need. This is a very, very simple project. You need something to write with, something to glue them on. We're going to be using the plates here. A glue stick or liquid glue works just fine, and something to add into your mosaic. Now, we're going to be using these little gems, but you can also use buttons or beads or beans even. So feel free to work on this more in your free time, but today in class, we're going to be using these gems. Okay, so the first step that I want you to do is think of a very simple design. When I say very simple, I mean very simple. If you look at this example piece that I have here, this was actually meant to be a landscape. These were supposed to be mountains and this was going to be a river, but really when you look at it as a whole, it looks more just like a rainbow pattern. So stay away from anything too terribly detailed because it just won't turn out. Now we're going to be putting our mosaic on a plate here. I actually only want you putting your gems on this flat circle that you find inside of your plate. So the rest of the plate is not going to be covered in the gems like this piece, only this center circle. So in that center circle, if you would like, you can draw out a design. Now, your mosaic can be abstract where you just start gluing different pieces down randomly, and I am wonderfully okay with that. But I am going to draw out something for mine. I'm just going to do a very simple shape. You could also stick with something like a letter, maybe of your first name, like a bubble letter. Shapes are really an easy way to go. Maybe an emoji or something like that. But very, very simple is what you want to focus on. Once you have your sketch done on the front, I want you to tip it over and write your name on the back. And then you can set your writing utensil aside because you won't need that anymore. Now, once you have your sketch finished, you can go ahead and pop the lid off of your gem container here. You can use liquid glue or stick glue for this, but I know that we all have stick glue, so that's what we're going to start off with today. You want to go ahead and open that up, and then you're going to cover that whole original circle. You're going to be gluing a lot here, but I like to lay down a really nice layer of the glue at the very start. Our glue might dry as we're working, and that's fine. We can reapply, but if it's nice and sticky, it'll be ready to catch those gems. All right, once you have a nice layer of glue on there, recap your glue, and then you can start doing your mosaic. While you're working, if you need to kind of dump out some of your pieces, I am fine with that, but please make sure you are following our last rule of the art room and cleaning up behind yourself. There's no reason we should have beads all over this classroom at the end of this lesson. Alrighty, so there you have it. There is my pattern mosaic. Now, once you're done, we are going to let these dry for an entire day. After that, you guys may take them home. If any of your gems pop off, you can just glue them back on. I like to take my mosaics and cut a hole at the top and then hang them up somewhere, kind of like an ornament, but you can do whatever you'd like with yours. In order to clean up, please make sure you are putting all of your gems back in your cup. And then putting the top on nice and tight until it clicks. You could probably see during my design phase, I ran out of blue ones. You only get the amount of gems that you started with, so I will not give you more gems if you run out of a color. You're just gonna have to problem solve and come up with something instead. So instead of doing blue gems all the way around, I actually did a pattern of blue and purple or violet gems. So be creative, problem solve the best you can, try your best, and most importantly, have fun. Once you are finished, Miss Collins will come around and pick up your cup of gems. We're going to recycle those and use those with another class. But like I said at the start, feel free to make your own mosaics at home using whatever kind of materials you'd like to try next. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Good luck!